everyone, welcome back. This is going to be a pros and cons video about the Amazing Cosmetics Amazing Concealer. Now, if you've been on my channel for a while, you know that I had that concealer quite some time ago. I did add it into a project pan. I love it, and as soon as I was done with it, I mentioned that I was going to repurchase it. Now, so let me get started with the basic. This comes in a squeezy tube, which I think it's one of the genius ways to kind of package this kind of concealer. Now, this is a concealer that has a lot of pigment, so we'll cover mostly anything, at least on my skin. So if it came in something with a pump, you probably get too much for what you need. And I have a few of those concealer with pumps that are really pigmented, and let me tell you, sometimes I do over apply more concealer than I should, just because I don't want to waste it. So I thought that the packaging is really nice, and that you can get exactly the amount of product that you need, especially knowing that it's so pigmented. You will soon understand how much you will need for every area that you want to cover. Now, this retails for $42, but they also come with a smaller size. So if you don't want to purchase the full size, you can go with the smaller one, try it and see if you love it as much as I do. But $42 is for the bigger size of this concealer. Now, it comes with 15 ml or 0.5 in that big tube, and that is the one that I'm sharing with you in this video. It also comes in 19 colors. As I mentioned before, my color is tan golden, but you will have a good variety of colors and undertones. Now, if you have fair skin, you probably always go with the light. And it's kind of hard to find the perfect concealer because not everyone that has, you know, fair skin, it's going to fit into that light category. Sometimes they have yellow undertones, sometimes they have pink undertones, sometimes they're kind of neutral and you can get away with it, but it's really hard to work with a concealer that it's not the perfect undertone for you. So having a light line which has different undertones, it's going to help you find the perfect one for your skin. So if you want to cover your under eyes dark circles and you also want to cover some of the imperfections that you may have on your skin, you can do that with this concealer because it will have the perfect undertone for you. Some of the things that I consider pros for this concealer is that number one is ultra pigmented. I mean, I'm not saying this lightly when I tell you that this has the best coverage on a concealer that I've ever tried. It will cover all the darkness that you may have in your under eye area, and also will cover any dark circles. You can cover pretty much anything, you know, dark pigmentation that you may have, uneven skin, whatever, you will be able to cover it with this concealer if you find the perfect color for you. It has one of the most pigmentations that I've ever tried in a concealer, and this is my number one concealer as far as pigmentation. I just feel like it's something that if you struggle with dark circles, then you feel me. It's really hard to find a concealer that it's going to hide the darkness. It's usually something that will make it look kind of a grayish, or it's going to look a little bit ashy, but it will never go away. Now, when you try this one, you will be able to see that they magically disappear. Another thing that I like about this concealer is that it's very creamy, and it has a blend of antioxidants and cucumber extract, which in theory, it's supposed to help your skin. It's like a skincare benefit added, but when you put it on your skin, you can tell that it's adding you or giving you some kind of a skincare benefit because of how it hydrates your under eye area or even your skin. If you have some kind of texture on your skin, you have dry skin that you're trying to hide, or if you had acne and it became something really dry, this is the perfect concealer because it's going to hydrate your skin at the same time that it's covering it. So it's not going to emphasize if you have any peeling or dry skin that it's peeling off your skin. It's going to kind of diminish the appearance of that instead of drying it up when you are using some kind of long-lasting concealer. It usually dries into your skin and it makes the dryness or it makes the texture a lot more noticeable. With this one, you will get the coverage, but you also will get that skincare benefit that it's going to show as a moisturizing effect, that it's never greasy. Now, another thing that I like about this concealer is that it's very long wearing. I mean, You do have to take a few steps to make it long lasting, but if you do take the time to do that, then you will have this concealer longer than any other concealer. At least that's my experience. If you have just normal under eye area, you don't need the moisturizing feeling, or you don't like how shiny it looks because of its moisturizing effect, you can go in with a beauty blender or a sponge that is wet, go over it, and it will give you that nice and very natural glow. Or you can set it with powder after you go in with the beauty blender, or you can apply, if you have oily skin and you're worried about kind of moving around, you can blot it with some blotting sheets and then set it with powder, and I'll assure you it's gonna last you a lot longer. But you won't get that creepiness and dryness in the under eye area, because whatever is inside your skin, it's really moisturizing. It's not gonna be shiny outside because you took all those steps to make it, you know, kind of matte, but you will have the benefits of a moisturizing under eye concealer, which maybe 10 years ago I didn't want that in a concealer, but right now I'm 34 and I need it, because if I use a very long lasting concealer, let's say the Kat Von D one, it's a really nice one as far as coverage, but the problem that I have with that specific concealer is that it will dry up my under eye area. It will look like a little map of dryness and wrinkly not goodness that I don't like. So for that reason, I need something that is a little bit more moisturizing right now. But if you still want something moisturizing but matte, just make sure you follow those steps and you'll have it, you know, all day long. Now the cons, or some of the things that you should keep in mind. In my experience, it's not waterproof. Now, if you do take the time to blot and set it with powder, it will last you a lot longer. But if you don't do that, like I don't like to do that just because my under eye area, you know, I'm okay with having a little bit of a luminous glow in that area. It usually kind of moves around maybe 4 or 5 hours into the day. And that is just because I have a lot of problems with my eyes. My eyes are always watering and I always have some kind of water in this area. So I know it's not 100% waterproof. Maybe if you got caught in the rain, it will be waterproof, but if you have very sensitive eyes, like I have, you know, to dust and everything that it's kind of flying around in the change of seasons, then, you know, you're probably going to have watery eyes and it's probably going to move a little bit. It's not going to disappear, but it's going to move. So what I do is I keep it in my purse and I touch up, because it does make me feel better when I don't have dark circles. I feel like I look a little bit more put together even if I'm not wearing makeup, and I like to touch up with it because it will give me more of that moisturizing effect of an eye cream, even though I'm not using one. So that is how I fix that problem. Now another thing that you should keep in mind is that it looks shiny. So I kind of mentioned that before. You can blot it with a blotting sheet, even toilet paper, but if you have some of those $1 sheets, blotting sheet by e.l.f., you just go over it, make sure that it will absorb all the hydration that this has, and then you set it with the powder of your choice and you will be set good to go. I mean, it's not gonna look shiny at all day. And another thing that you may want to keep in mind, if you live in a very humid place, let's say you live in Florida or you live in the South and it's really humid and you're sweating all the time, then this might not be the most long-lasting concealer too. So keep those things in mind. It might be something that is really long-lasting for me here in Utah. But if you are going to Florida, it's going to be a humidity level of 90% and you probably are going to be sweating and it might move. So just keep those things in mind into perspective if you're going to purchase this concealer. So I hope that all this information helps you decide if this is the concealer right for you. If I had to talk to a friend and she would ask me if I'd repurchase this, I would say yes in a heartbeat. I don't think I can live without this concealer from now on. If you had struggled with dark circles, you should try it. If you struggle with dark spots, you should try it. I just think it's one of those products that you may want to try, but just keep those things in mind. So anyways, thanks again for watching this video. I hope that you enjoy it and I will see you on my next one.